Good morning, students. Today I am here with the second part of nationalism in India. Dear student, as in first part we studied about arrival of Mahatma Gandhi in India in 1915. Then Gandhiji started Satyagraha, and then British government passed an Rowlatt Act. And after Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. So these two incidents were very serious in India, and leader of Indian National Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi opposed British policies. So after Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Gandhiji decided a nationwide movement against British government, a nationwide satyagraha. Meanwhile, as in first part we discussed about the Khilafat movement. So Gandhiji decided to start non-cooperation movement with the help of Muslim leader, because that time Khilafat movement started by Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, that already we discussed, and I have given you assignment work also, and a few students answer very nicely, and I am expecting better answer from other students also. So we discussed Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Rowlatt Act, and now with the help of, and also we discuss about the Khilafat movement, and who was the founder of Khilafat movement? Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali. So finally, in Nagpur session of Indian National Congress 1920, already I discussed you, in December 1920, Indian National Congress in Nagpur decided to launch a nationwide non-cooperation movement with the help of Muslim League, Khilafat movement. So now question arises, why non-cooperation? Gandhiji wrote a famous book, Hind Swaraj, in 1909. In 1909, Gandhiji wrote a book, Hind Swaraj. Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians. In that book, Gandhiji wrote, British government is ruling over in India only with the cooperation of Indians, and had survived only because of the cooperation, and the British government is surviving in India only because of the cooperation of Indians. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse within a year and Swaraj would come. In this book, Gandhiji wrote, if Indian people will not cooperate to the British government, so within a year, Swaraj will come back to India. So, Gandhiji proposed that the movement should unfold in stage. It should begin with the surrender of titles and government awarded, and boycott of civil service, army, police, court, legislative council, school, and foreign goods. So finally, Gandhiji gave an idea. The movement will start with the boycott of the British goods, and all the government employees will resign from the government job. So this was the idea of Mahatma Gandhi. First, the British government has given a number of titles, and people will surrender those titles, those awards, and people will boycott British goods. And the people, those who are serving in various departments like police, army, civil service, they will resign. Then, in case the government used repression, a full civil disobedience campaign would be launched through the summer of 1920. Mahatma Gandhi and Shaukat Ali stood extensively mobilizing popular support for the movement. So by this time, Gandhiji got support from the Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali. With the help of these two leaders, Gandhiji visited in different parts of country and told people what is Satyagraha and how they will make non-cooperation movement. And this was a time of 1920, dear. It was a tough time again in Indian history, because as today we are suffering from the corona epidemic, So that time also there was a serious epidemic. It came from Spain. It is known as Spanish influenza epidemics. And because of this, in the census of 1921, between 12 to 13 million people perished in India. So it's a history repeats itself. The same situation today, no doubt, we are suffering with a serious trouble, that is the corona. But such situation was also in 1920, 1919 to 1920. That time also there was a epidemic. It is known by Spanish influenza. And in that situation, so when it was the census of Jangarana hoti after 10 years, so it was the census of 1921. And according to the census of 1921, around 12 to 13 people perished because of famine and this epidemic. So, under such circumstances, finally Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch a non cooperation movement, and it was the Indian National Congress session Nagpur 1920. 1920, the Indian National Congress conference held in Nagpur. This is also a very important question for the map point of view, my dear. So, where was the 1920 Indian National Congress held? It held in Nagpur, and in this conference, Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch a nationwide movement against the British government that is called non-cooperation movement. So finally, in January 1921, the non-cooperation and Khilafat movement began in January. Finally, in 1921, January, Mahatma Gandhi started non-cooperation movement. Here you should know, Gandhiji launched three nationwide movements. First, non-cooperation movement. Second, civil disobedience movement. And third, Quit India movement. So these were three movements, nationwide movement, which were led by Mahatma Gandhi. So, the non-cooperation movement and the Khilafat movement began in January 1921. Various social groups participated in this movement. Many social groups participated in this movement because of their specific aspirations. All people have their own interest. All of them responded to the call of Swaraj, but the term meant different thing to different people. Gandhiji gave the name that is called Swaraj, but the meaning of this Swaraj was different from different people. Basically, the movement started in towns. The movement started by middle class participants in the cities. So, as Gandhi's idea, thousands of students of government controlled school and college. Headmasters and teachers resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. The council elections were boycotted in most provinces except Madras. So, this was the beginning of the non cooperation movement. So, non cooperation means don't cooperate to the British government. So, according to the guideline of Mahatma Gandhi, non cooperation movement started in January 1921. It was supported by different social groups with their specific aspirations. With the call of Gandhiji, the school and college headmaster and teacher resigned, lawyers gave up their legal practices, the council elections were boycotted. The effect of the non-cooperation on the economic front were more dramatic. And second thing, the boycott of British goods. The people of India did not use the British goods. They boycotted the British goods. So when the Indian boycotted the British goods, it was a great economic loss to Britain. Because now people of India started to use khadi and boycotted British goods and burnt the British goods in huge bonfire. The import of foreign clothes between 1921 to 22 dropping from 102 crore to 57 crore. So between 1 year of this non-cooperation movement, it was a great economic loss because the import reduced between 1921 to 1922 during this non-cooperation movement. The import value of British goods gone down from 102 crore to 57 crore. In many places, merchants and traders refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. In many places, what happened? The merchants and traders refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. But the movement in the cities gradually slowed down for a variety of reasons. In the beginning, all government employees resigned, but gradually it slowed down for a variety of reasons. First thing, khadi cloth was often more expensive than mass-produced cloth, and poor people could not afford to buy it. Gandhiji promoted khadi, but the cost of khadi was not bearable by poor. It was not bearable by poor. They couldn't afford to buy. How then could they boycott milk cloth for too long? Similarly, the boycott of British institutions posed a problem. For the movement to be successful, alternative Indian institutions had to be set up so that they could be used in place of British ones. These were slow to come up, so students and teachers began trickling back to government schools, and lawyers joined back working in government courts. So, in the beginning, all resigned students left the school, college, and university, but later on, gradually they joined it. Now, see the rebellion in countryside. The different section of society have different aspirations. The farmers, the big farmers of India, the peasants of India were under heavy burden of taxation. हमारा जो किसान था उस पर ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट का बहुत ज़्यादा टैक्स था. The Awadh, it is a very fertile region. The peasants were led by Baba Ramchandra. He was a sannyasi. The peasants' leader in Awadh region was Baba Ramchandra. Basically, he was a farmer, landlord. Before that, he was an indentured labor in Fiji. But when he came to India, he organized to the farmers of Awadh region against the talukdars and landlord who demanded more peasant, extraordinarily high rent, and a variety of other cases. So what happened in Awadh region? Farmers were under burden of taxation. So to reduce this tax, Baba Ramchandra organized to the farmers, and later on he established Awadh Kisan Sabha. He organized to the farmers of Awadh and he made an association. It came to be known as Awadh Kisan Sabha. So who was the founder of Awadh Kisan Sabha? Baba Ramchandra. The peasants, the farmers of Awadh, this is known as the Ganga Duab का मैदान जिसको हम कहते हैं. This is very fertile valley. So here farmers were under the burden of taxation because the British government was imposing more tax and the British government was following the Begar system. You know the bonded labor in class 9th, you studied well, bonded labor. So the Baba Ramchandra demanded the bonded labor should be reduced and the taxation should be reduced. जो किसानों पर ज़्यादा टैक्स था उसको कम किया जाए. And this was a period Jawaharlal Nehru began going around the village. After the Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru came back to India and he started his political career. So Jawaharlal Nehru started his political career from Awadh region. As in previous PPT, I discussed you, Gandhi ji came back in India in 1915 and he started his political career means the first satyagraha he organized in Champaran. Already I told you. In 1916, Gandhi ji organized first satyagraha in Champaran. So in 1920, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru came to India and he also started to visit India. So firstly, he started his political career from Awadh. He visited this region. Nehru began going around the village in Awadh, talking of the villagers and trying to understand their grievances. By October, the Awadh Kisan Sabha was set up, headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, Baba Ramchandra, and a few others. So, with the inspiration of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Awadh Kisan Sabha came into existence. Within a month, over 300 branches had been set up in villages around the region. So when the non-cooperation movement began the following year, the efforts of Congress was to integrate the Awadh peasants' struggle into wider struggle. So in Awadh, people under the guidance of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and under the guidance of Baba Ramchand started to revolt against the British government. Even in many places, they became violent also. So their basic demand was to reduce the tax and to stop the bonded labor. So this was their demand. So the people have different aspirations. In our peasants supported them. Now, tribal community, a large number of tribal were also in India. They also thought that Swaraj means liberty. In the Gudan hill of Andhra Pradesh, a large number of tribals were there. Tribal peasants interpreted the message of Mahatma Gandhi and the idea of Swaraj in another way. In the Gudan hills of Andhra Pradesh, for instance, militant guerrilla movement spread in early 20s, not a form of struggle that the Congress could approve. Here is to other forest regions. The colonial government had closed large forest area. In fact, after the introduction of forest law, these tribal people were not permitted to enter into the forested area. Okay, British government passed forest law. According to this forest law, now the tribal people were not interested to enter into the forested area. Right? That is why these tribal people thought Swaraj means they will get permission to enter into the forest. So, under the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju, who was Alluri Sitaram Raju? He was head of these tribal people, and these tribal people projected Alluri Sitaraju as a god. Right? Alluri Sitaram Raju projected as a god, so he thought that Swaraj means they will get permission to enter in the forested area because after the introduction of Forest Act, they were not permitted to enter into the forest area. So Alluri Sitaram Raju, who was Alluri Sitaram Raju? He was the chief of tribal in Gudan Hill of Andhra Pradesh. Right. So they thought that Swaraj means they will permitted to enter into the forest. Okay. The person who came to lead them was an interesting figure. Alluri Sitaram Raju claimed that he had a variety of special power. He could make correct astrological prediction and heal people, and he could survive even bullet shots. He projected himself as a god. Captivated by Raju, the rebels proclaimed that he was an incarnation of God. They projected him as an incarnation of God. भगवान का अवतार उसको बताया गया. Raju talked of the greatness of the Mahatma Gandhi, said he was inspired by the non-cooperation movement and persuaded people to wear khadi and give up drinking, but at the same time he asserted that India could be liberated only by the use of force. So his thinking was that India can be liberated only by the use of force, not through non-violence. The Gudan rebels attacked police stations, attempted to kill British officials and carried on guerrilla warfare. For achieving Swaraj, Raju was captured and executed in 1924 and over time became a folk hero. So, who was Alluri Sitaram Raju? Alluri Sitaram Raju was a tribal leader of Gudan Hills. So, these tribal people also supported to Mahatma Gandhi. Now, another group that is called Swaraj in Plantation. A large number of people, they were employed in tea garden in West Bengal and Assam because British government introduced plantation crop here, tea and coffee. So workers to had their own understanding of Mahatma Gandhi and the notion of Swaraj. For plantation worker in Assam, freedom meant that right to move freely and out of the confined space. In fact, British government passed an act in 1859 that is called Inland Immigration Act. Please be attentive. British government passed an act in 1859. This is called Inland Immigration Act. According to this act, workers were not permitted to leave the tea garden without permission, and in fact they were rarely given such permission. So according to this Indian Immigration Act of 1859, in which year Inland Immigration Act passed 1859, according to this act, plantations workers were not permitted to leave the tea gardens without permission, and in fact they were rarely given such permission. So when they heard of the non-cooperation movement, thousands of workers defied that authorities, left the plantation and headed home. They believed that Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their own village. They, however, never reached their destination, stranded on the way where railway and steamer strikes. They were caught by the police and brutally beaten up. So all the plantation workers, when they came to know about the Swaraj, they thought, according to Swaraj, they will be permitted to go to their village. Otherwise, according to the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, they were not permitted to go to their home. So when they came to know about Swaraj, they came out, supported Gandhiji, but they were arrested by the British police and brutally beaten up. And they again went back to the tea guards. So these were the different sections, those who were supporting to Mahatma Gandhi. So during this non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji got support from different sections of society. Muslim leaders were there, and the peasants of Awadh. They strongly support to Mahatma Gandhi. The tribal people of Guran has supported Mahatma Gandhi. Swaraj in the plantation, the plantation worker, they thought Swaraj means they will be permitted to go their home because very important act. What is the Inland Immigration Act of 1859? It was an act for the plantation worker. The plantation worker were not permitted to leave the tea garden without permission. So this is called Inland Immigration Act. So meanwhile, all over the country, the movement was gradually spreading, but in few places people became violent. In UP, Chauri Chaura near Gorakhpur, some activists, those who were opposing British policy, they attacked in police station and many police personnel died. In Chauri Chaura in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, in 1922, a peaceful demonstration in a bazaar turned into a violent clash with the police. Hearing of the incidents, Mahatma Gandhi called a halt in the non-cooperation movement. As you know, the ideology of Gandhiji was non-violence. Non-violence was the main ideology of Gandhiji. So when people became violent, Mahatma Gandhi called out the strike. When in Chauri Chaura, the Satyagrahi became violent. They killed the policemen. Gandhi was worried with this, and finally Gandhi ji decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. So in February 1922, Gandhiji decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement because of the violent activity in Chauri Chaura. In the ideology of Gandhiji, there was no place for violence. So when Gandhiji withdraw the movement, withdraw the strike, many Congress leaders were not happy with this action because the Indian Congress leader thought now the movement is in the peak and Gandhiji should not withdraw it. But because of the violent act, Gandhiji called off the strike. Now, Gandhiji said the movement was turning violent in many places and the satyagrahi needed to be properly trained before they would ready for mass struggle. So within the Congress, some leaders were by now tried to mass struggle and wanted to participate in election to the provincial council that had been set up by the Government of India Act 1999. So now some Indian Congress leader wanted to participate in election because during this movement election was boycotted. They felt that it is important to oppose British policy within the council, यानी कि इलेक्शन के बाद काउंसिल में आके ब्रिटिश पॉलिसी को हम अपोज करेंगे. Meanwhile, some Congress leaders were not happy with the Gandhiji Act, so C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru formed Swaraj Party in 1924. Please, this is a very important question. Who was the founder of Swaraj Party? C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. In 1924, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru formed the Swaraj Party. Who was the founder of Swaraj Party? C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. Okay. Within the Congress to argue for a return of council politics, but younger leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose pressed for more radical mass agitation and for full independence. So this time, by 1924, two dynamic leaders were in Indian National Congress, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. They wanted a radical change and they demanded full independence. Gradually, they were going to change the word Swaraj to independence. So finally, in 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement because of the violent act in police station Chauri Chaura. Few Congress leaders were not happy with this decision because they wanted to continue the struggle, and few Indian National Congress leaders wanted to participate in election. And meanwhile, in 1924, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru founded Swaraj Party. In 1924, who founded Swaraj Party? C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. So during this period, when Mahatma Gandhi called off the strike, in such a situation of internal debate and dissension, two factors again shaped Indian politics. Towards the 1920s, the first was the effect of the worldwide economic depression. Agriculture prices began to fall from 26 to collapse after 1930. As the demand for agriculture goods fell and export declined, peasants found it difficult to sell their harvest and pay their revenue. By 1930, countryside was in turmoil. So meanwhile, one more incident took place. The economic depression, my dear student, between 1929 to 1933, this is known the greatest economic depression. दुनिया का सबसे भयंकर इकोनॉमिक डिप्रेशन था एंड इट अफेक्टेड टू इंडिया वेरी बैडली. इसका प्रभाव हिंदुस्तान पर बहुत बुरी तरह पड़ा बिकॉज द बेसिक प्रोडक्ट ऑफ आवर कंट्री इज एग्रीकल्चर. स्टिल इंडिया इज एग्रीकल्चर country. Our economy is totally based in agriculture. So during this economic depression, agriculture prices began to fall from 1926. जो हमारा एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन था उसका जो कॉस्ट थी वो डाउन डिक्लाइन होगी. एज डिमांड फॉर एग्रीकल्चर गुड्स फेल एंड एक्सपोर्ट डिक्लाइन, तो हमारा जितना भी एक्सपोर्ट था इट डिक्लाइन. पीजेंट्स फाउंड इट डिफिकल्ट टू सेल देयर हार्वेस्ट. So all mostly in your country people were peasants and their income decreased. So again a turmoil condition came here. People were economically suffering because of the economic depression. This depression was not only in India, it was the international economic depression. It is considered the greatest economic depression between 1929 to 1933. So because of this, the countryside was turmoil. Again, it was the economic crisis in India. Again, in this background, the new Tory government in Britain constituted. So this time, in Britain, there was the Tory government. So they were aware about the Indian struggle. They appointed a commission that is called Sir John Simon. In response to nationalist movement, the commission was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India. In fact, the aim of British government to set up the commission, Simon Commission, was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India and suggest change. The problem was that the commission did not have a single Indian member, they were all British. So, meanwhile, the British government appointed a commission to study about the constitutional system in India. Right. In this commission, all five members were Britishers. No one Indian was there. Right. Tory government came into power in Britain. So British government appointed a commission under Sir John Simon. Right. All the members here were British. No one was Indian. The basic task of this commission was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India. So Indian Congress leaders were not happy with this. They wanted Indian member in that commission. That is why when the Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan "Go back." Right. When Simon Commission came to India in 1928, all over the country, under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, people opposed it and gave a slogan "Simon, go back." Because in Simon Commission, no one was Indian, all five members were Britishers. The main task of the Simon Commission was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system. So there was no Indian member. That is why when Simon Commission finally arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan "Go back, Simon." All parties, including the Congress and the Muslim League, participated in this demonstration in the efforts to win them over. The Viceroy Lord Irwin announced in October 1929 a wage offer of dominion status for India in an unspecific future and a roundtable conference to discuss a future constitution. This did not satisfy the Congress leader. The radicals within the Congress, led by Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, became more agitated. So, meanwhile, what happened? Simon Commission came in 1928, but all over the country, all the Indian Congress leaders opposed it and gave a slogan "Simon, go back." So, under this commission, there was no Indian, all were Britisher. So, this was Simon Commission. Simon Commission came to India in 1928 to look into the functioning of constitutional system. But in this commission, no one was Indian. That is why Simon Commission go back slogan given by Congress and all over the country, people demonstrated against this commission. And meanwhile, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, two dynamic leaders, came into Indian National Congress. Now, they were more aggressive, they were more dynamic. Dear student, in this PPT, the important point which I discussed to you, the non-cooperation movement and the Khilafat movement began in January 1921. The movement started from the town, but this movement joined by various social groups with their specific aspirations. There were rebellion in the countryside, the peasants in our Baba